Guys, welcome to Virgo season. We have the sun moving into Virgo today, and we also have some kind of difficult emotional aspects going on today as a result of the placement of the moon, but this is honestly to be expected after this big, powerful, full blue moon in Aquarius that we just had over the weekend. Welcome back to my channel. Today is Monday, August 23rd, 2021. My name is Aubrey, and this is my astrological outlook for the day. So, yes, here we are. We have the sun moving to 1 degree of Virgo today. This is definitely an energetic shift. And you guys, really, it's telling us that we are entering a few weeks span right now that is all about the mind. And this information is coming through in more ways than just because Mercury rules Virgo, where the sun is right now, and Mercury is also in Virgo in his sign of rulership. But we have some very interesting Sabian symbols in effect today that are also referencing the significance of what is going on in our head, what is going on in our mind, and what that is doing in terms of how we're moving forward at this point in the context of everything that we've been through and everything that we're growing out of and everything that we're growing into. So let's talk about the energetics for today, you guys. Like I said, welcome to Virgo season. Sun moves to Virgo today. Right now, we also have Mercury, ruler of Virgo, and Mars in Virgo. So there is a lot of Virgo energy going on right now. But today we have the moon in Pisces. Pisces is oppositional to Virgo. It's the oppositional sign to Virgo. And we also have Neptune in Pisces retrograding currently. And today with the moon in Virgo, it's actually going to be opposing Mars. It's going to be conjuncting Neptune and also opposing Mercury. So this is definitely going to bring up some, like I said in the beginning, some more difficult emotions today, and we'll talk about that in a minute. We also have Mercury coming into an opposition with Neptune. That will be exact tomorrow. And today we have Venus forming an exact trine to Saturn. And we also have the black moon shifting degrees today. So all of this going on in the context of our first day of the sun discharging Virgo energy. And so let's start at the top. The sun at 1 degree of Virgo, the Sabian symbol for this degree. And for those of you who don't know or who are new to my channel, the Sabian symbols are a group of symbols that represent each and every one of the 360 degrees of the zodiac. And whenever a planet is at a specific point or a specific degree, we can look to the Sabian symbol, read the energetic, and it gives us a better understanding of what that planet is doing there, what the purpose of this aspect is in the grand unfolding saga of energetics that we are just constantly immersed in. So the Sabian symbol for 1 degree of Virgo is in a portrait. The significant features of a man's head are artistically emphasized. And I find this to be a significant degree placement to have going on right now. I mean, that's always the first day, the first degree of Virgo. But it's referencing specifically the man's head. Virgo is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is very strong, very dominant, and very active right now. And Mercury is referencing the mind, our thoughts, our ideas, our communication, our understanding of things, and how our mind is operating. So this symbol is telling us, in my opinion, for the next few weeks as we move through this Virgo cycle and close out this full moon in Leo and Aquarius that we just had, moving towards the new moon in Virgo, that the significant features in a man's head are artistically emphasized. So whatever it is that we are very focused on is what is going to be emphasized mentally in our experience, and therefore, kind of created and experienced by us. So I really feel like in the context of all the energetics right now, you guys, that we all need to be very, very careful about what we're focusing on, what we're thinking about, and where we're letting our mind go and our mind wander, because it's saying the significant features of the man's head are being emphasized artistically. So it's like, whatever we are thinking about, whatever we are focusing on, whatever the significant feature going on in our mind and head is this cycle, will have a tendency to be emphasized and artistically manifested or created in our reality. So this is kind of a point that I've been focusing on a lot in my work lately, trying to emphasize the significance that we really hold in terms of the ability in our mind to play a manifesting role in the experiences that we create in alignment with God and the divine. And I really feel like this cycle, controlling our mind, paying attention to our thoughts, and making sure that our thoughts are focused in the right direction on the things that we want, is going to really behoove all of us and be a very big asset to us as these energies unfold. We are in a period of time right now of intense change and upheaval and shakeups and things just spontaneously happening that kind of throw things up in the air. And we really need to try to maintain a strong mental grounding right now in reality. And especially today and tomorrow, the energies today are really like we're recovering from what happened or what has transpired with this full moon over the weekend. So let's talk about the placement of the moon now for today. And the moon, like I said, is in Pisces. It's in mid-Pisces. It will oppose Mars first, and then it will oppose Mercury, and then it will conjoin Neptune. So the moon in Pisces opposing Mars in Virgo, and Mars in Virgo is still in a square to Uranus. So this is like emotional upsets, emotional upheavals, emotional conflict, emotional difficulty today. And I'm thinking it's most likely in terms of processing any type of changes or shocks or upheavals that may have happened with this full moon. There might be anger that's been brought up, there might be confusion, there might be depression as well with this. But if you're feeling any of these more negative emotions today, it could be this moon placement opposing Mars, who is still in square to Uranus, after this culmination point that we just had with the full moon over the weekend. So definitely, you could be feeling anger towards other people today. You could be feeling emotionally wounded. You could be feeling like you need to be on the defensive about something in terms of your emotions and your feelings. And, I really think that this is just a symptom or a consequence of, or an effect, side effect of what we've been trying to break out of, stand up against, and what we've been experiencing with all of these extremely intense energetics that have been happening this past week, and especially with the full moon over the weekend. So something to keep in mind as well. Then we have the moon opposing Mercury. This makes it very hard for us to separate our emotions from our thoughts, and we can be very sort of like caught up in emotional haze. This is very delusional energy. This is not clear thinking energy. Even though Mercury is in Virgo with the opposition from the moon in Pisces and also a conjunction to Neptune, this could also be causing us to just really want to run away from things, really want to like evade reality, fade back into the illusion, not face the things that we need to face right now, and even our thoughts, kind of like hide from our true thoughts about things with this as well. So we have that going on today as well. And it's like with Mars being opposed and Mercury being opposed. Remember, Mars and Mercury were just in a conjunction last week. So we might honestly be feeling today with this that we kind of just want to like run away or hide from whatever came up, whatever we had to stand up for ourselves with, whatever significant things may have transpired for us last week or over the weekend with this Mercury-Mars conjunction. We may just be feeling out of alignment with it today emotionally and experiencing sort of an urge to sort of like evade that or ignore it or just hide from it in some type of a way. But we really, hiding from things is generally not the best way to deal with them, and we really need to try to just tune into our intuition with this, tune into our higher selves, connect to spirit, connect to God, and have faith in the divine plan and the way that things are unfolding. This is the best way that we can use this energy with the moon in conjunction to Neptune, because that is a very, very spiritual placement as well. And we really have an ability to use this energy to tap into our faith and to rest assured that no matter what is transpiring right now or what we feel like we may need to hide from, we don't. We need to surrender our burden to God and to have faith that it's being handled on a higher level. Remember, we have all of the outer planets retrograde right now. Spirit is absolutely in control. Things are happening in the way that they need to happen, even if it's uncomfortable or even if it's scary. And we really just need to not hold the worry and the burden within us and surrender it to the higher power with our faith that things are unfolding in the most appropriate way to bring the best ultimate outcomes for us that can align us with where we're supposed to be and help us to go through the process that this whole past week was bringing us towards, liberating ourselves, standing in our power, standing in our truth, and standing down any forces that may have tried to limit us, obstruct us, hinder us, hold us back in any type of a way. We may be feeling a little bit shaky today about the boldness that we had last week and what could potentially come from that, but we need to really rest assured in our faith with the moon conjunct Neptune today. And if we're going to evade reality, then we need to do it in the way where we are just aligning with the higher plan, surrendering to it, and letting go of any type of resistance to the changes that are happening, to the things that are coming up, and not to hold any fear, not to hold any worry, to know, every man is a golden link in the chain of my good, and this is happening to benefit me, to benefit you in some way that we can't see right now going forward into the future. God has weapons we know not of. So we need to keep that in mind and really use this energy if we are dealing with these feelings of wanting to run away from whatever has surfaced over the weekend, feeling hurt, feeling angry. We need to do our best to understand this is part of a bigger plan, and whatever's transpiring right now is what is necessary in order so that the things that need to fall away can fall away, so that we can truly be freed and liberated to align with our heart and our soul going forward. This is the message across the board right now. So we have that today as well. This also, can bring like a lack of clarity and confusion, and again, just that desire to escape. But we need to escape to a higher place. We need to escape to a realignment with God and with the divine plan, the divine path that is unfolding before us now. So that is really how we want to, the perspective and the attitude and the mindset that we want to have dealing with these energetics today. The next thing that we have going on today is, like I said, Mercury is moving into an opposition with Neptune. The sun is now in Virgo, Mars is in Virgo, Mercury's in Virgo, ruled by Mercury. Mercury coming into an opposition with Neptune, you guys. This is going to be a big week where there is a big push to recapture the human spirit that was trying to break free and emerge over the weekend, to regain control of the narrative, to regain control of the mind, and to recapture the or put back how it was, the breakthroughs that began to happen over the weekend. So I expect there to be a lot of manipulation going on with this, a lot of illusion, a lot of fantasy, a lot of delusion, a lot of misinformation, a lot of lack of clarity that is intentionally being brought to try to shake us from the stand that we took and the breakthroughs that started to begin to happen last week. This is energy that can be utilized. I mean, it's also highly creative energy, and it really allows us to align our mind with receiving insight and intuition and spiritual guidance as well. But on the lower octaves, it is energy that can be used to manipulate the mind, to project a fantasy, to project an illusion, to create worry, to create fear, that can distort the reality that that's been beginning to emerge. But again, On the flip side of that, Mercury is the ruler of Virgo. Mercury is thinking very clearly in Virgo. And Neptune is in Pisces, its own sign, but it's retrograde. So it's like the attempts at manipulation of the mind, the attempts at illusion might actually bring truth with this as well. So it's sort of a double-edged sword. It's like anyone trying to use this energy right now to regain the status quo, to reshape the mind back to where it was before we started having these breakthroughs last week, is taking a big risk, because those same efforts that are used to delude and to manipulate might also be the same efforts under this energetic that ultimately spark truth and clarity and awareness and revelations. So it can go both ways, as energy always can, but I feel like there will be a huge push to try to regain control of the mind with this, back into an illusion, back into a place where it can be controlled and manipulated. But I don't know that it's going to have the anticipated outcome. I think that the outcome of that might actually be more truth, more awareness, and more clarity. So just something to keep in mind. Also, going right along with this, we have the black moon shifting degrees today. The black moon is in Gemini. Gemini is the other sign ruled by Mercury. So the mind right now is very much intertwined with the shadow side issues collectively that are surfacing to be cleared and healed right now, so that we can essentially begin as humanity moving forward into the age of Aquarius to break free from the deep ingrained subconscious thought patterns that have kept us in certain cycles and patterns of behavior that have perpetuated certain circumstances in our lives and kept us out of this trajectory that we're headed on now, back into ultimate freedom, liberation, authenticity, and realignment with our heart and our mind and our soul. So, with the black moon in Gemini, this is a theme that we are going to be dealing with for the next 9 months, as the black moon goes through Gemini and is bringing this up within all of us collectively, like the deep like layers of our psyche coming up to be seen, but also bringing up a lot of polarities, a lot of like schisms, a lot of cognitive dissonance as well. And this particular degree 5 Gemini, where the black moon is moving today and will be for about the next week or so, really emphasizes this Mercury opposing Neptune, especially with the moon there today, and everything that I was just saying about that. Listen to the Sabian symbol of this degree, you guys. 5 Gemini, a radical magazine or publication asking for action displays a sensational front page. So with this degree of the black moon being discharged in Gemini, while Mercury, ruler of Gemini, is in opposition to Neptune this week, after we just went through a massive week where the human spirit was really stepping forward and people were starting to step back into their power and to regain that inner sense of self-worth and self-value that gave them the power to do so. It's like we're facing somewhat of a backlash this week. And again, like, these energetics can always go multiple ways, but I'm looking at it in the context of just the way that things are unfolding right now generally. And with this Mercury-Neptune aspect this week, and this specific degree of the black moon, a radical magazine or publication asking for action displays a sensational front page. You guys, we really, really need to be careful about being spurred into action through what we're seeing projected to us in the media, on social media, in the headlines. We do not want to act on the projection right now. Specifically, we do not want to act on the projection right now. Last week, we did want to act. This week, we want to act, but not if there is something, some headline, some publication, some magazine, radical magazine cover calling for it. If we are going to take some spontaneous action this week with Mars still in a trine to Uranus, it needs to be coming from our personal heart, our personal integrity, and what our personal authenticity and what we personally need to fight for to realign our lives. This is not the week to take any type of action, even if you feel that it's standing up for yourself, even if you feel that it's doing the right thing. If it is being spurred on by some type of message that is being broadcast calling for action. If there's a message calling for action, that is something that you're probably going to want to be skeptical about, because it isn't necessarily for the purpose of solving problems. It could potentially be for the purpose of sabotaging the progress that's been made to this point. With this degree about the Radical magazine cover and publication, displaying the front page, calling for action, this again, especially like I said, with Mercury in an opposition to Neptune this week, seems like it is a distortion. It seems like it is a form of mind control. It seems like we are being played by this. And I mean, I'm talking personally in your individual lives. I'm talking collectively on the world stage. It's like there is some type of spell being cast this week to try to diminish the impact of what happened last week and over the weekend. And we really need to be very careful not to be pulled into it. We need to be very aligned with our gut, very aligned with our internal compass, with our higher selves. And any action that we are taking needs to come from that place and needs not to come from being egged on in any type of a way through anyone broadcasting any type of call for action at this point in time, because there is a very good chance that it is not what it appears, it is not what it seems, it is not from the place of authenticity and integrity, and I don't think that it is truly going to be what is beneficial for us at this point in time. So with the black moon, while it's discharging 5 Gemini, while we have Mercury in opposition to Neptune this week, very, very careful taking action based on any messaging that is coming in from the media, from social media, from anything being broadcast or projected to you. The action that you take needs to specifically come from your gut instinct and not be spurred on by any external information sources this week. I feel like it's a big point to make. I feel like this is very important moving forward. And like I mentioned in my full moon report, you guys, the energy that began last week and with that full moon is something that is going to be progressing and unfolding through January, basically, of 2022. And it's not happening overnight. And it's like, take 2 steps forward, take 1 step backwards type of thing. And this week, we need to be very careful that we don't take 3 steps backwards with the ability of the energy to be manipulated this week. But, on the flip side, if we are looking from the highest octave of the black moon at this degree, this is also giving us an opportunity to really learn some very crucial and critical information about the way that our mind is working, the way that our mind is operating, and the impact that has on the reality itself, the world, the reality that we are experiencing. A Radical magazine publication asking for action displays a sensational front page. This Radical magazine can be our own thoughts, our own ideas, our own projections, and we can dig into those, we can analyze those, and we can take action to clear and heal those. With that moon in a conjunction to Neptune and with the Mercury Neptune opposition, this also is a very strong opportunity for us to align with spirit, to align with the faith and the unfolding of the divine path, to surrender our fears, surrender our worries, and take action by doing that, so that we can really begin to create the circumstances and the realities going forward in alignment with that place of divinity and spirituality, divine guidance and divine assistance. There is so much divine assistance available to us right now. Remember, Neptune is at the degree a materializing medium giving a seance. So even though this Neptune is activated, And this energy can be used both ways, but we can use it just as powerfully as anyone else can use it to tap into divine guidance and really receive tangible assistance in our realigning with our path forward, in correspondence with God, and also clearing and healing these issues, these subconscious issues that have kept us from doing that up until this point. So we can use it both ways, but we need to be aware that the ability to manipulate, it's like the ability to cast a spell this week is very strong. So we need to be very careful, and we really need to be in control of our minds and our thoughts, and not allowing our minds and our thoughts to be controlled by what we're seeing, what we're hearing, or the projections being placed on us. Last thing I want to talk about today, we have Venus at 9 degrees of Libra in her home sign, Saturn at 9 degrees of Aquarius, forming an exact trine. This, you guys, is rebuilding our lives in alignment with what is truly in our heart. And they're only 2 degrees off from where the North Node is right now in Gemini. So we still have a grand trine going on between Venus, Saturn, and the North Node. So we are really building the path, rebuilding the foundations of our future right now in a way that is very much aligned with what is in our heart. But remember, Saturn is also the Lord of karma. And if our heart is malaligned right now, maligned, like, what's in our heart? Is it love and forgiveness? Or is it hatred and resentment? Like, what is the contents of your heart right now? Because that is what's building and rebuilding the direction of your future. So we all really need to be releasing and forgiving and aligning. A long time ago, at the beginning of this new moon in Aries, this astrological new year, there was a major theme of a white dove flying over troubled water. And I don't know if most of you have been with me long enough where you would have experienced, seen those like early videos that I did. But this theme of the white dove over troubled water was very strong at the beginning of this year. And I felt like it was giving us the solution to all of our problems as we go through these tumultuous times. And right now, I really feel with this Venus-Saturn alignment that that's what we really all need to be doing, is symbolically aligning in our hearts and our souls with the symbolism of a white dove. Just surrender to the higher plan, forgiveness, peace, harmony, balance, and olive branch, and love. And that is what our medicine is right now, to really help us realign with our heart in a way that can help us to build the future that we really want to be living right now. We must align our conscious. Oh, and then the degree of Venus today for this trine to Saturn, 9 degrees of Libra, I should say the Sabian symbol. This degree is 3 old masters hanging in a special room of an art gallery. And remember, Saturn is at 9 Aquarius. A flag is seen turning into an eagle. So the 3 old masters hanging in a special room of an art gallery. We must align with this, you guys. Our conscious, subconscious, and superconscious minds, Mercury, Virgo, or our mind, body, and spirit, the Holy Trinity within us. We need to reintegrate these things so that they're all hanging out together. And that's what we really need in order to be truly liberated, to build the way, build the foundations, set our stage going forward so that we are building the future in a way that is going to be most fulfilling, most sustaining, most long-lasting, most in alignment. Also, this potentially, the Venus trine to Saturn, there could be relationships coming in right now that are very stable, very long-lasting, very enduring through time as well. But again, we really, really need to check the contents and the nature of our heart with this, because if we are holding on to these more negative feelings that are distanced from the love and the forgiveness and the peace that we need to be embodying right now, we could be facing some karma and some challenging circumstances with this as well, because we are really trying to be realigned with the true nature of our heart and to build the future in correspondence with that. And if that is not operating from the proper way, if it's operating in an inversion right now, it's possible that we may have to face some difficult experiences in order to right that so that we can build productively going forward in correspondence with Saturn. And with the 3 old masters hanging in the special room, this definitely has a lot to do with realigning our heart and our soul and our, what did I write? Our mind, our body, and our spirit with the true nature of our heart, and also the conscious, the subconscious, and the superconscious minds beginning to work together in order to create and to manifest with Venus the beauty, the love, the abundance that we need to be truly happy and enjoy the pleasures of life going forward. So this is really what we have going on today. Again, I feel like this energy today is sort of like the aftermath of everything that we experienced and dealt with last week. Might be feeling, emotionally shaky today, but if you are feeling like that, surrender it to the divine and rest at peace in your faith, knowing that everything is being handled, everything is being taken care of, and even though it might feel scary or uncomfortable right now, the things that are happening right now are happening so that a grand righting can occur ultimately. And you guys, it's just all about the mind. Like, I cannot overemphasize, especially with the degree of the sun today in a portrait, the significant features of a man's head are artistically emphasized. Life is literally drawing the significant features of our mind and our head and what we're focusing on with this, following what we just had, and with Mercury in opposition to Neptune, and with the Venus in the trine to the North Node and Saturn, and with the Black Moon at this degree, we are creating what we are emphasizing in our mind. So we need to make sure that what we are emphasizing in our mind is what is truly in our heart and soul, and that we are focusing on that, and that we are not being distracted, that we are not being deluded, that we are not living in a fantasy, and that we are not in fear, and that we are not in worry, and also that we are not taking action based on someone else's call to action that we see for any reason. This is not the time where we want to be doing that. So that's what I have for my report today, guys. A little bit of a heavier one today, but we just have had so much active energy. It makes sense. Everything is like ripple effects, and the progression into total freedom and liberation, it's not an easy road to get there. Like, we're walking through like the valley of death, you know what I mean? Like, but we have faith and we have divine support and divine assistance, and everything is working to be righted right now. So rest assured in that, and things are moving towards peace, beauty, and balance ultimately. It might take us until 2022 to start actually seeing it, but we're heading in that direction. So if you guys liked my video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends if you think they would be interested. Leave me comments, you guys. I love your comments. Join my Facebook group or my Facebook page if you're interested, and leave me your astrology questions because I'm going to be making some videos answering those as well. Have a beautiful day.